either Thorn, Varesh, or Jumong. I think those are the 3 most likely bans coming out of the side of Unlucky. No, I don't think, like, Drizzler can play a good Iva, but I think he's much scarier on something like a Jumong. And Unlucky, they really like to play characters like Older. Like, Blanks is an incredible Older, and Jumong just kind of like eats alive Older. Yeah. You just space, and then you get double rate of arrows and trapped, and you're just dead. We see the Thorn ban and the Older ban, both teams understanding what the other wants to run. Impact of Dizzler, Thorn of Dizzler going to be banned out by Unlucky, and the Older of Blank's going to be banned out by Impact. You can tell these teams are familiar. Impact, though, they're still going to run the Varesh. And this is another very cool thing about Impact, is that Dizzler can play a very good Varesh too. they're not limited to just putting Vague on this. So even though the Thorn is banned out, it's okay. The Blossom picks, very popular over here, Jorby.
Very popular in Europe. I don't think one of us saw Blossom once in North America, but very popular in Europe. We saw, obviously, Mini putting on quite the performance with Blossom. Hard on the other side with, you know, got off on Impact. Yeah, sorry. And wasn't able to make, you know, Blossom's just strong.
She's pretty good.
You make the points.
She does lots of healing. The tree is very high value. The Thorn going to be banned out from Impact. Unlucky, banning out the Rukon. It's not something we've seen all that often, but my God, if you get a Hand of Judgment on somebody and then you land a Shadow Bolt with Rukon, you just kind of lose 40 HP.
Like, yeah, I was going to say that's like 45.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
It's a lot of damage. The Esmo pick is a little interesting for Unlucky. What do you think about Esmo, Lucy, Blossom?
Interesting. I'm not 100% sure what to think about this. Of course, they are playing with Blanks, and Furic is also a support main, so they kind of have 2 support players, so it makes sense that they aim for double support. It's what they're most comfortable on. I'm not sure how well it's going to work out for, because Impact, the Bako is just so good against both Lucy and Blossom. He can just kind of train them down. Like, the Blood Axe is so good when he's just getting up in their face. Yeah. The Bulwark also really high value against things like Boom Bloom and also things like Panic Flask. So I think this Lucy could be okay. Clarity Potion's good against the Varesh, but I think the Bako is the perfect pick against it.
I like the Bako pick against it for sure, and I just, man, I can't get behind this double support thing.
No,
I can't get behind it. I don't like it. I don't like Lucy Blossom for that double support, especially with Esmo as your main output of damage, as your main DPS. That's gonna be really tough to get by Bako, who can also just harass Esmo to death. So it's a really difficult spot that they're in, and I understand the second restriction in Rukon, but I would have liked to see another melee restriction out of them other than Rukon. Obviously the high damage potential, like you said, but I definitely would have liked to see maybe you go for Raigon or a Bako ban for on the side of Unlucky, especially if you are opting for a double support. You want to try to eliminate any kind of pressure that they can put on you.
I think the problem there is that there's just a lot of melees that are good at training supports. Yeah. There's just a couple that like really excel at it, and they tried to ban out the Rukon because he just like absolutely destroys 1v1s, and he really enables Impacts to play kind of far back and play more patient, because Rukon can just kind of throw Shadow Bolt. You can just bait out Shadow Bolt casts and just kind of sit back, and that's what double support wants to do. They want to be chill, so they want to remove that neutral game from the potential arsenal of Impact. So in that sense, it makes sense, but I think just at the end of the day, they aren't going to have enough damage on the side of Unlucky. I think when Bako goes in, if the Clarity Potions are on point and like the Inhibitor's Guard is cleansed off or the War Shout is cleansed off, then maybe they might be able to get the
If they're on point with all of their abilities, then sure, they might actually have a chance. But
and that's the problem I'm getting to, is that they just have to do so much right. And even if in like out in the ether this draft can work, just the ease of execution is so heavily in favor of Impact. I don't think Unlucky is going to be able to do it.
So Impact winning in the draft phase pretty heavily, at least in the flesh, and I think so. But we'll see how the game plays out. It's the execution phase, and already we see immediate pressure coming out here on the side of Impact.
Yeah, look at this center control to Impact. They are now stepping forward through this choke. The orb is going to spawn shortly, and Vague, he's like, nah, I don't want to really go in.
He doesn't have to. They're already pushed back in their spawn.
Yeah, Dizzler, he just easily backs up and takes the orb, and now they're already at 2 bars of energy, Dorby. They are quickly getting up to this huge, like, critical mass where they'll be able to pop off with an in cap into an ultimate from either of these 2 characters. Just a lot you got to look out for.
I love the harassment from Vague. He leaps in and then just bulwarks his way out, and he baited out an escape. And he did it twice already, and it's just they're getting pushed back into their spawn. There is nothing they can do about this. The Dance of the Dryads comes out on the side of Impact, does a lot of damage to Blossom for Godoff. He has no options available to him. Lucy goes down on the side of
Vague. What's up, Vague? You see that nice ulti? He flicked that ultimate, landed it on the Esmo. Really nice prediction on how far Esmo's space goes. It's things like that that really tell me a player understands how characters work in this game, and Veg is definitely one of those players with that understanding. And just as we expected, Impact taking that one pretty dominantly, Jorby.
There's just no front line on the side of Unlucky. You have nothing to aggress with, nothing to kind of contest this Bako. Bako literally, Veg is doing what he wants. He baited out so many defensive cooldowns in that initial setup that allowed them to push them back into their own spawn. And once you're pushed back into your own spawn, you have to find a way to retreat back to mid. But Impact was so good at cutting down those angles. Perfect spacing and making sure your area of influence just covered every option of escape that they had.
Off, eating a panic flask from Furyk early on this time. Things looking a little bit better for Unlucky, but once again, posting up at this choke. Impact not letting the blue team through, and because of it, they're likely going to secure this first orb, spawning in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy orb for Impact, as Unlucky is just slowly trying to move their way forward. Esmo,
he's got that ulti. He's going to drop it, but it's going to get no value. Very unfortunate there. And on the flip side, Condemned, the damage is starting to add up on him. Beautiful panic flask onto the Varesh of Dizzler. But look at these energy bars on the red team, Dorby.
Yeah, they are stocked up, and they don't really feel pressured at all. There's a couple ticks of damage coming out on the side of Unlucky. They're actually matching Impact in terms of health bars right now.
Oh,
that was a big.
Boy.
Never mind.
They are gone.
As soon as I said that, Esmo got deleted.
Yeah, Esmo, he ate the ultimate from the Varesh. Really nicely played from Dizzler. And like I talk about so often, when characters only have that one mobility spell, you just kind of die to a Varesh ultimate.
Yeah.
And Varesh, he managed to escape the nerfs of the last couple patches that a lot of range characters got. So he's still at relatively full strength, and we really see it there. He just kind of posts up and gets that big ultimate onto Blanks, or Condemned rather, and finds the kill. And meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Veg, he just ulted onto Furyk. Like, everybody on the side of the blue team just can't handle the pressure the Impact is putting out.
That's one thing I don't think we also pointed out about this composition on the side of Unlucky is that they don't really, Esmo only has one.
Yep.
But Lucy and Blossom also don't really have a lot of defensive cooldowns themselves. They have one leap.
There's like barrier, there's roll.
Barrier, roll, and tree.
Yeah, but there's only so much that can do, right?
Yeah.
If you eat a buck,
repositioning abilities aren't there.
At all. Absolutely, you're right. You're dead on. And those are so incredibly important against the big ulti abilities that Impact brought to the table with this draft. And we really saw that weakness in that last round. The Unlucky, they're not being pushed quite far as back. They recognize that that was a huge pain point in the last round. We'll see if they can maintain this, though, Jorby.
It's so hard because you have Bako who just can bulwark you back, and it happened twice right there. You're going to try to pull a Chaos Grip, try to pull someone towards you, but, Veg has the leap up. He's going to go in there, protect his guy, and get out. Look at the amount of pressure he can put up onto Blossom up here, just pushing him out of the way. Blanks has no option. He's just taking a ton of damage. Veg doesn't care. He's going all in on this, pushing it in the corner. Bambi caught in the deer in the headlights, takes it all to the face. Can't escape the corner, takes massive damage. Book coming out from Esmo does some, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was actually a huge point, though, for Unlucky. They managed to go back towards mid. A double Petrify set up by Furyk enabled Condemned to land a double ultimate, and things are now looking manageable, but still not favorable. Unlucky have found their way back into this round, and they got the last center orb, but they're still at a massive disadvantage here as Condemned gets ran at by Veg.
Esmo gets some good trades against Veg.
Nice goo. Oh, the book too.
Gets the book, the big damage, and trying to get over to Dizzler. Dizzler took damage, but he's actually trading it right back right now against Lucy.
Yeah, he's missed 2 ultis this round. This is huge for Dizzler. If Unlucky are going to win a round, this is going to be it. The ultimate not going to get any value from Blanks. They might be able to find a kill, actually, on the side of Impact. Blanks taking so much damage from Dizzler, who finally lands that ultimate. They say 3 is the lucky number, and the third ulti that Dizzler drops off this round is going to have massive effects.
Too little, too late. We said that Unlucky basically had to do everything perfectly that if they had a chance to even win a round in this game, and that retreat right there was them doing everything perfectly, moving from the bottom, trying to get back towards Impact spawn, but after that it fell apart and they just ate ults because they had nothing left. You have nothing defensive left to defend yourself, no front line to eat anything for you, and Unlucky just don't have an answer even when they were able to grab advantage.
I really like that Dizzler went this Battlerite build too. He went the ultimate heavy build, recognizing the lack of mobility spells on the side of Unlucky like we've talked about. So if he ever lands these ultimates, they're just going to be super high value. His score was 1,500 in that last round. Even though he missed 2 ultimates, I can't help but imagine what it will be if he lands them all.
So Unlucky opting to just try to play back here. Maybe similar bait to try to get some high damage and then retreat back to the middle of the arena, excuse me.
Condemned. He's got that Hand of Judgment on him, and oh boy, Dizzler
landed bullied back.
Yeah, on the left side, everybody losing on the side of Unlucky. The Lucy being ran at by Bako, not the ideal trade. Condemned doing no better, Jorby.
And then Vague turning right back onto Furyk. Just a lot of damage, doesn't matter. He's going to go down. Impact going to take this 4-0 right now against Unlucky.
Yeah, this was a slaughter right out the gate. Impact looking so incredibly strong. The ultimate from Condemned is going to come out, but it's going to get no value, and this draft is just too good against what Unlucky want to do. Dizzler and his Varesh looking too strong. Vague bodying the Lucy in the 1v1. It just seems like there's nothing that the blue team can do.
No, I mean, there really isn't. There's no response that they can give to Vague, to Dizzler. There's just too much damage. There's too much pressure. And we always say that aggression usually beats out a very defensive game in Battlerite, but this is kind of like the two extremes right now. Like, you have to be ultra defensive as Unlucky, and there's nothing you can do about it anyway. It's not even that defensive. Like, there's a couple of solid... Oh, what a tree.
Yeah, good tree there. Very nice from Gaddafi. Furyk up top being aggressed on, and Dizzler aggressing down bottom onto Blanks. Wow, once again, Impact just... Gaddafi is pressuring in the enemy spawn. The Blossom of Impact is in the spawn of Unlucky, and they don't touch him. Gaddafi is just... he's even EX spacing. He's just going in so aggressively. Gaddafi is like, what up? You can't touch me.
It's always fun to watch a support get aggressive, and they don't have a response right now. Condemned, trying to get some damage out, can't do anything with Blossom right attached to the hip. Lucy goes down, Condemned about to go down here, and in a very unfavorable 1v1, Blanks and Vague fighting here. Doesn't matter, he's gonna be the only one left, and Impact going to set themselves up for this rematch they have later. We've been talking about it all day. It is going to decide the winner of this group now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Is Impact versus Team Hyped. They needed to win this game. They did it emphatically. A very, very comfortable 5-0 victory for Impact.
Draft matters, and the players on your team and what they play matter. You cannot have two supports that main support and then expect to just be okay in the draft, especially against a team like Impact who understand what each player on your team wants to do. You got to start branching out. You got to start trying different things, and this Esmo seemed very ineffectual as well. It just seemed like Unlucky had a very hard time getting things going, and it sounds like we're ragging on him a lot, but I think at the end of the day, it's just how good Impact is.
Yeah.
Impact are so incredibly good that if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and they took 3 this game.
Yeah.
They had an outdraft, and they had a plan, and they executed it flawlessly, never giving Unlucky any breathing room.
And Impact's also showcasing their versatility.
Yeah.
Here, because we saw in the last game, Vague playing Thorn. Or not Thorn, excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, he played
playing Thorn.
Yep.
And then he goes on to Bako and played a very, very good Bako. Even if there was more of a balanced composition on the side of Unlucky, he would have been a heck of a Bako to deal with, because the man was just so good. He's like, okay, it's double support. I know how to play against this. And by the way, double support